Hello and welcome to this episode of Orion Now. Today I'm joined by Village Manager Darwin McClary, and we will also get an update on the world's largest lighted parade. So stay tuned for this episode of Orion Now. Welcome back. I'm glad you joined us today. It's my honor and privilege to welcome our first guest today, Village Manager Darwin McClary. Darwin, great to see you. Thanks for being on today.
Thank you.
Yeah, so welcome. I know you're not really new, but you're still newer than me at least.
Yes.
So you're the new guy, which you did take some pressure off me when you showed up. So I want to personally welcome you on this show and welcome you to our community. So tell me a little bit about how the transition has been and how you're liking the job so far.
Well, it has definitely been a very busy 7 months. I've been amazed at just how busy our small village really is.
Right.
Being just 1.3 square miles, 3,000 people. I never anticipated that village government at that level, at that size, could be as busy as it is. But we have a lot going on, and it's been exciting for me coming back home.
That's great. So talk a little bit about that, coming back home. So you originally grew up just north of here, right, in the town we don't normally say by name, but it rhymes with Oxford, right?
Yes. I grew up in Oxford, but actually attended both Lake Orion and Oxford schools.
Okay, so good.
So I have friends in both communities. Probably 2/3 of my Facebook friends are Orion and Oxford residents and former classmates. So this is definitely home for me. My family is up here. I have several siblings that live in this area in Orion, Clarkston, Oxford, nieces and nephews who live up here. So it's definitely home.
Great. So so tell me, where'd you come from? This isn't your first gig in local government, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so we can all breathe a collective sigh of relief that you're not learning on the job.
Yes, I'm not new to the profession by any means.
Okay.
I have been working in local government as a municipal manager for over 23 years now, coming up on 24 years. Started out early as a city manager. My first city manager job, I was 23 years old.
No kidding.
So.
Wow.
So I've been, and I still have probably about 20 years to go. So it's going to be a long career for me.
Well, good.
But served as municipal manager for several communities here in Michigan, ranging in size from about 1,200 population all the way up to 34,000.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. So you heard about the job opening in Lake Orion, the village, and I'm assuming you were pretty excited about it because I know the previous manager, Paul Zelnick, spoke very highly of you, and you had some working relationship in the past. Is that right?
Well, Paul and I didn't really know each other personally, although it seems like he and I kind of follow each other around in our careers. Paul and I both worked for the city of Garden City.
Okay.
I believe he worked in the community development department before I was there, and I served as city manager in Garden City. And of course Lake Orion, and now he has gone to the city of Linden, where I served as city manager back when I was still in my 20s. So,
the reason that he's going to be able to move into an easy position over there is because you did all the groundwork years ago.
I would like to think so. Yes.
Well, that's interesting. It does seem like there's people in your position move around a little bit, but that's good, right? Keeps you fresh, lets you bring new ideas to the communities that you're serving. So when did you start actually in Lake Orion as the interim?
I started in early April as interim manager.
Okay, so explain to people, because I constantly am explaining to people that I run into, what in the world does a township supervisor do? So what does a village manager do? Tell me a little bit about what you do to serve the residents of Lake Orion.
Well, the village manager is the chief administrative officer of the village government. My job is to manage the day-to-day operations of the village, to manage the employees, oversee the operations of all the departments of the village, and to report back to the village council on the operations of the village.
And so the better question is, what don't you do as village manager, right?
I don't make laws.
Right.
That's the council's responsibility.
So that's a little, that's the, I think maybe the one distinction is between our positions is that I serve on the board and I chair the board that I also get a vote on. You report to the board and they can make ordinances and things like that.
Right. Under the charter, I have the right to take part in all discussions at council meetings, but I do not have a vote on the council.
Right.
My job as a professional manager is purely a non-political position.
Right. Very interesting. I'm sure people are learning stuff already. So okay, so you started this year. When did they make you take off the first part of your title, interim?
July 1st, I started as permanent manager.
So they gave you a little test run. Obviously, they liked what they saw and liked the job you're doing, which is obviously a testament to the work you were doing in the village. So July 1, now you're the village manager. And so tell me a little bit about, I know there's been a lot of changes in the village, even since you've been here. How have you been dealing with that? What are some of the things that you've encountered since you've been on July 1st?
Well, as you know, we've had some staffing changes.
Right.
We had our planning and zoning coordinator move on to take a full-time position with the Township of Harrison. And we've had our village clerk retire. I just received word last week that our treasurer may be moving on to another position. That position is also part-time, and she had an opportunity to take another position that hopefully would provide benefits for her.
Right.
Although after talking to her some more, there's some question as to whether she'll be leaving us. So I'm hoping she stays. I absolutely adore Shelley, and she does a great job for us.
So you're in the midst of a lot of changeover, which is good, which means you end up probably just wearing more hats, right?
All of us do.
Yeah.
You know, I have an outstanding staff that I work with, and I could not do what I do without the great work that they do.
Right.
So we all kind of fill in as we need to, because we are a small organization, small staff.
Right.
And I can't say enough great things about the employees that we have at the village and how they are able to step in and take up the slack when they need to.
Right.
Just a great group of people to work with.
That's great. That's great. What's been your favorite thing about coming back to Lake Orion, about the job, just about the community in general? What are you most excited about being back here?
Well, I think the most enjoyable part has been the large number of people that I've seen that I haven't seen in years.
Right.
Running into old friends, old classmates, people that I've worked with in the past, both in Oxford, because I also I was the manager in Oxford, again in my 20s. And so running into some of my old staff members and just so many people that I've lost touch with over the years and have now been able to reconnect with.
That's great. One of the things that's kind of funny, I was commenting when we met at one point about how much I like the website and some of the updates that were happening. And hey, who are you using? What company are you using for those website updates that you're doing? And your answer was?
I do it myself.
D. McClary and Associates, right?
Well, we had OCS Design,
right,
who initially designed the website, got it up and running because, as you know, Chris, we had some problems.
Right.
Somebody hacked into our website, and so we needed more security. OCS Design and Michelle Overton did a great job of designing our new website. But because she has done such a wonderful job getting it set up and running for us, I'm able to now take over and maintain it and make changes as necessary for the most part. She's still going to train me some more, but.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I was just impressed that you knew how to do that. So, all right, so you're kind of getting settled in, I think. Obviously, there's some staff changeover, which we constantly deal with, you know, when I say in our line of work, because now I'm kind of in similar line of work, except I'm elected. What are some of the projects that are going on in the village that you're working on right now, outside of just inside your staff and personnel, that you want to share with us?
Well, we are right now in the planning stages for moving Village Hall from the current location on Flint Street up to Church Street to the old Union Church building. There's a lot of issues that still need to be worked out. Finances will drive everything. So we haven't made any final decisions about that, but we are in the planning stages for that. We've prepared some preliminary floor plans for that building. We've determined what building modifications would be necessary while still preserving the historic character of that facility. So that's one of the major projects we're working on. But we're also trying to do some restructuring organizationally to be more efficient and cost-effective in how we provide municipal services. We want to focus a lot more on customer service and make sure that when people walk into Village Hall, it's a positive experience for them and that they're happy to be at Village Hall. That's very important to me and to my staff, and so we're working on that. I'm working closely with our Downtown Development Authority Executive Director. You sit on the board to try to coordinate better economic development efforts. And Suzanne and I are planning to do some walkthroughs of some other communities, get some ideas for our downtown, but also hopefully try to recruit some new businesses.
Good.
And we really want to try to recruit some businesses that are destination businesses that bring in people from other parts of the county or the entire Detroit metro area and maybe even out of state to see what Lake Orion has to offer. So we're working closely on that as well.
That's awesome. I think that it's funny because I often in conversation people say, "Where are you from?" And if you ask the 35,000 people that live in the township and the village combined, overwhelmingly people say I'm from Lake Orion. People don't say I'm from the village of Lake Orion or Orion Township, and you and I have had this conversation before. But I tend to totally agree. I think it's important for our community to have a strong downtown, which is our village. And then obviously a lot of our growth is coming from outside that, but we want to feed and support our village. So I am really excited about the parking lot project, even though that might not seem so exciting to some people, but it is a necessary thing for a business that's looking to move into our village to make sure that they're going to have adequate space for their future customers. So
exactly. And you know, one of the great things about downtown Lake Orion, unlike some of the larger communities elsewhere in the county, is that it's still free to park in our downtown. And that's so important to the business community and so important to the people who want to come and shop in a community, is having the readily accessible, available parking, but also knowing they don't have to worry about how much it's going to cost them to come and shop. Downtown Lake Orion, parking is free, and we like to tout that every chance we get.
Absolutely. So kind of wrapping up here, tell me what you think about, like, when you think 5 years down the road from now, what's your vision for our village? And, well, hopefully, will you still be here?
Well, that's outside of my control. You know, the council is going to decide at any given time when and if they need a change.
Okay, well, let's just say you're here, and we hope you are. So what's the village look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What do you see for our future?
Well, I see a village that is progressive, on the leading edge, in terms of providing core municipal services. I see a village that is much more affordable for residents and businesses to own property, to do business, to live and recreate in the village. I see a village organization that is friendly, helpful, that is a high performance organization that looks to be on the cutting edge when it comes to municipal management, but always keeps in mind what is our core responsibility, and always keeps in mind our citizens and our business community as we're doing what we do. And there's a lot we need to do. Hopefully our operations will be a lot more streamlined, more user-friendly, quicker to get done what you need to get done. And so I see a village that is the envy of other communities, a community that others want to emulate in terms of how they operate.
Well, that sounds awesome. I mean, I'm excited to see where we go with that vision. I want to thank you for taking a little bit of time out of I know you're extremely busy, out of your schedule to come sit down and just talk with me and let other people that are out there get to kind of know a little bit about you and what you're passionate about. So, and we didn't even get into that, your personal interests, but we're kind of wrapping for today. So we'll have to have you back.
Great.
But yeah, so thank you for coming on. If people have questions or want to get a hold of you, I'm assuming they can call your office. I know that I've walked in and met with you kind of on the spur. You probably appreciate appointments more than spur of the moment stuff, but you're open to people, village residents coming and meeting with you?
Yes, they can call my office at 693-8391, extension 101. They can also email me at McClaryd@lakeorion.org. And I also have after-hours office hours on Thursdays by appointment. So if they go on our website at lakeorion.org and go to the manager's page, they can click on a link there and schedule an appointment. So I'm happy to meet with people after hours on Thursdays if they need.
That's wonderful. Well, again, thanks for your time. I look forward to some of the collaborative efforts we're starting to work together on, and appreciate you coming on and look forward to working together in the future.
Thanks so much, Chris.
Darwin. So stay tuned for our next segment, which we will be talking about our world-famous lighted Christmas parade. So we sit here and talk for just a second.
Hey, this is Mickey York from Fox Sports Detroit. When I want to get the inside scoop on local sports, I watch Between Terminus or Fox Sports Detroit.
Welcome back. I'm pleased to welcome my next two guests to the show, Carl Cyrowski and John Cooper. Thanks, guys, for being here. You are part of the world's greatest lighted parade. I say largest, but you keep correcting me on that.
Well, we're the second largest in Michigan.
Right.
Now, maybe, close to the top in the world. I'm not sure about that.
I think that we got to be, I bet you we're top 10 in the world.
Oh, I'm sure of that, yeah.
Anyway, thanks, guys, for being here. This is an incredible, awesome community event, and I wanted to take a few minutes, talk about the history, talk about what we can do locally to support the event. So let's first start off. When did this whole thing begin, Carl? I know you had a part in it.
Yeah, back in early 1991, 2, 3, 4, we had a daytime parade on Saturday, and so did a lot of other communities, and it was poorly attended. And I had heard about Howell, Michigan, having a lighted holiday parade. So I was a member of the chamber at the time, and I got a hold of their chamber, and I says, well, how do you light them up? What do you do, And they said, well, we have these things called inverters. You plug them into your cigarette lighter, and they'll light up a string of lights or two, So anyway, I got a hold of somebody who handled those things, and I said, well, what do they cost? And anyway, the chamber bought a number of them, and we offered them to the parade participants for free. and they just had to give us a little deposit. We still have them if you want them, but let me tell you, we've gone a long ways from there. Now we got generators running and thousands of lights lit where the inverter maybe would light 4 or 5 strings.
So this is started in '95. First lighted parade was in 1995.
Yep.
So we're coming. This year's going to be year 19, which is
Yep.
pretty amazing, and it's grown immensely since.
Oh.
Tell me a little bit about what was that first year like?
Unbelievable. We had no idea what kind of crowd we were going to get because we were used to the daytime parade, and I happened to be in at the front of the parade in the lighted carriage, because I was involved as president of the chamber at the time, and we were involved we paid for the carriage. And anyway, we started out from the Eamon Center. We used to do it different. We used to head south into town and go out the south end of the village. Anyway, we started down, and all of a sudden, as we got down to near the 4 corners, here's kids running out in the street, people all over the place. I couldn't believe it. There was a tremendous crowd, and we had no crowd control, none. So anyway, we learned real quick, we didn't want anybody to get hurt. We learned that you can't throw candy out. You got to keep this thing safe.
Right.
And we have for all these years.
Right. So fast forward a little bit. John Cooper, I'm going to give you a prop for your local business, Gowling Buick GMC, who's always supporting everything we do in this town. So we appreciate you.
We try, Chris.
So
we try.
thank you for that. So please, hey, listen. Buy your car from John Cooper, okay? But anyway, listen.
Or your truck.
Yeah, or your truck. I bought a truck this summer. Anyway, listen. So you got involved a few years ago, 5 or 6, it sounds like now, to try to maybe take it to the next level, I think, right? So tell me about how you've heard about this and what your involvement's been.
Right. I actually started here with Gowling in April of 2007, and during the month of May, Sue Turpin came to visit me, and our scholarship that we give away to the high school student is named in honor of her husband. Sue came to me and said, we have a bit of a dilemma. We need a place to hold this event, and she described it, and I just kind of leaned back in my chair and said, okay, and she said, okay, and I said, yeah, we'll do that. And I think she was a little taken back by it, and we have, our organization, Gowling, and all of our employees have embraced it now, and we really are deeply involved. All my people volunteer their time, and it is a big undertaking, and it is our fundraiser to make sure that the parade group has the money that it takes to put this parade on, which is not inexpensive. There's some significant costs involved in the parade, so we're the main fundraising arm for the parade, and then we also obviously raise money and high school scholarships, kids that are going to go on to college, and we've donated to other pretty worthy causes here in the community. So
right.
It's been a great run for us since 2007. I may also add that on the parade side of the thing, it's been a blast for us because the last 4 or 5 years we've actually produced up to 2 floats for each parade and won some awards with our floats, and that's like going back to high school. That's a lot of fun.
Right. Now, do you think he's got any extra pull because he's hosting the fundraiser? Or?
No comment.
No, listen. So yeah, I mean, I just want to say, you didn't even say what the name of the event is. The fundraiser is always the night before the parade.
Correct. It's this year it's December 6th. It starts at 6:30. It's called the Holly Jolly Folly, and it's a great event. Food, all you can eat. I mean, we put out a really nice meal. Beer and wine, and we have a cash bar, and we have entertainment. For instance, last year we had a magician. We always have a band. We have a silent auction. We've got things going on all the time. It's a busy night, and all of a sudden it's 11 o'clock and it's done. But it's a lot of fun, and it's not real expensive. It's a very economical way for you to come out, spend a night with the people in the community and do something good for the community.
Right. It is a blast. I can tell you, I think we might have danced last year. I'm not going to say for sure. I don't think there's any video, but actually, last year was like a birthday party too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yes, it was. We quit counting though. We're just grateful to have birthdays.
So it was so really we're talking about 2 nights in December. This year it's December 6th and 7th, right?
Right.
December 6th would be the Holly Jolly Folly at Gowling, right in your
Right.
It's basically takes over the whole place.
Yeah, we take over. We kind of shut the dealership down early in the afternoon and decorate it up. And for those who haven't been there, it's an atmosphere that you don't know you're in a car dealership.
That's true.
And I might add too, and I want to make sure and give credit where credit's due. Our owner, Bill Gowling, is so pro community, and he likes to get this stuff done, that we do all this stuff, and the parade group or our organization keeps all the proceeds from the ticket sales. So, unlike some charities where there's a middleman, there is no middleman, and all this money is going right back to the parade group. So we can raise some significant money in one night if we just get the community to come out. And by the way, last year I think we had 370 people at the event. So
it's an awesome event. If you haven't been, you've got to mark it on your calendar. So let's talk. Let's go back to the actual night of the parade. It's chaos.
It's chaos, yeah. Well, we do have everybody register first. We have meetings for the drivers to try and bring them up to snuff on what's actually going to transpire that night. But when the floats start coming in, I mean, we have to have, you've worked in the back in the past and trying to line up these floats. Like this year we have 5 marching bands. Okay, well, we don't want them behind each other. You gotta, as you know, you gotta fit them in, space them out, have different floats in different places. Oh, by the way, this year the theme is Once Upon a Time in Orion. So you can use your imagination if you're gonna put a float in. Once upon a time, where, what, and how, anything's up for, and we've got the prizes, for the best lighted parade, float, and on, as you know.
So, okay, so you heard cats to start it all off. You get it all together, and it is, I got to just give you so much credit, because I know it's not just you. You have a great group of volunteers, but you're the guy that really is kind of handling all the things behind the scenes. So, and last year you had a band from Ohio, that nasty state of Ohio. That someone that's sitting here may or may not be from. That's all right. Hey, we wore our Ohio red today.
There you go.
So no, this is for Christmas. This is not for Ohio State. All right.
Let's get that. Here's the gray. You have on the scarlet.
So it's a crazy event. I met so many people after I walked through the parade last year, and then came back through the crowd from all over Southeast Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you run into lots of people from our community, but there were people from as far away as downriver, and as up north. I met some people from Frankenmuth, and I mean, people are really getting to hear that this is the place to be on Saturday in December.
It's a great fun night. These guys do such a great job behind the scenes, and it's a pretty long parade. The last 2 years, we time it out pretty good. It starts at 6. They're very disciplined, and about 20 minutes after 7, it's over. And there's a little euphoria, but a little sadness too that it's an hour and 20 minutes and it's all over, because the community really comes together. It is really a cool deal.
Action packed for sure. And it's by far, I mean, there's other parades that happen in the village. You can't compare the turnout to this one. So
no.
Maybe for our 20th year, we'll really go crazy.
Well, we're up to 70 parade participants now.
I want to be the biggest in Michigan.
All right, we'll do it.
All right. Well, listen, thanks so much, guys. In closing, I just want to say thank you to each one of you personally. Carl Cyrowski not only does this, he is the reason that we have fireworks over Lake Orion every summer, and a handful of other things. So you are...
Yeah, but there's a lot of volunteers.
Yeah,
that's
there are, but there's a leader, and you're that guy. So I just want to thank you for everything you do and all the effort you do giving back to your community. And John Cooper, you two, and the Gowling family, not just this parade fundraiser, but at least that I can think of off the top of my head, 4 or 5 events during the year for our veterans, for our memorial, for our seniors, that you are fully giving every penny that comes in back to those groups. So I want to thank you guys both for what you do to make Orion great. Keep up the great work, and we will see you on December 6th with our dancing shoes, and December 7th for the big event.
Thanks, and come get your tickets at Gowling too.
Come to Gowling.
For the Holly Jolly.
That's where
Get
the
your
tickets
at
are.
Gowling.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks, guys. That wraps our episode for today. Thanks so much for tuning in, and great things happening in Orion Township and in our village. Stay tuned next time, and hope to see you around town.